Growing up, society taught you to follow the script by choosing a career path and climbing the ladder. But for many people, this promise falls flat. Work suffocates them and life becomes painful. Here, you're trapped in what I call the corporate cage. Fortunately, there's a way out. You can take control of your corporate job and unlock a life of freedom. I call this living uncaged. Hi, this is your host, Matt Doan. I'm a coach, creator, and entrepreneur. Uncaging people is my mission because it's been my exact life journey. This show provides you the stories, principles, and tactics to make it happen. Welcome to Uncage Yourself.
Hey, my friends. Today, I want to talk about the real costs of burnout. It's not what you think. It's not just too many hours and getting exhausted and just feeling like you always need sleep. It is so much deeper and more profound than that. And I want to get to the core of it. I want to look at some of the research that's being done. I want to look at the exact cost to you as an individual, to your family, to your long-term health. Okay? We're going to get to all of that. Now, before we dive in, as you know, I'm trying to get this word out to a lot of people on how to uncage yourself. There's a lot of methods, strategies, mindsets that we're trying to convey. So if you're getting value from Uncage Yourself, if you could share this on social media, a favorite clip, an episode, or jump over to Apple Podcasts and leave a quick, honest written review, or hit the stars on Spotify, any of that really helps. Getting the word out on podcasts is actually really hard. Discoverability is a challenge. So anything you can do, it means the world to me. Thank you so much. So today what I'd like to cover is three things. Number one is what burnout is. Secondly, we'll cover why we become burned out. And then thirdly, I want to talk about the real costs of burnout. So this is clear in your mind and you know the necessity of dealing with it. So first, what is burnout? Now, many of us are familiar with workplace burnout. We've got a conception in our head right now. And for most of us, it's that feeling of extreme physical and emotional exhaustion where it's hitting us hard. And this usually happens a lot in the corporate world. It happens with doctors and lawyers, of course, too, and emergency responders. But I'm talking to people in the corporate world, knowledge workers, right? So until now, when you look at the way it's officially been classified by the World Health Organization, burnout has been called a stress syndrome, but they've updated it over the last few years. The WHO recently termed it in a new way, and here's the new definition. It's a syndrome conceptualized as resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. This is in their international classification of diseases in that diagnostic manual that they have. So this is a very real thing. It's researched from a scientific, from a psychological perspective, and we've really got to get to the root of this because it's tearing apart lives, it's hurting companies, it's doing a lot of damage to families. We've got to get a very clear understanding of what's happening. And when you think of that definition, the WHO lists out three symptoms to consider. One, a person who's burned out will have feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion. Secondly, they'll have increased mental distance from their job or feelings that are negative towards their own career. And thirdly, they'll have reduced professional productivity. All makes sense, right? But we've got to understand the WHO is coming to a conclusion that there's a lot of scientific research and consequence behind this, and we have to come to grips with it as a form of mental health, right? Like we've got to get to this. It is a syndrome that we need to come to grips with and know that it is treatable. And that's the point of this episode, is to understand it at great depth. And let's be clear, you can't afford to get this wrong for yourself, for your future self, for your family. There is too much at stake. Now that brings me to my second point. We've defined it. Now let's talk about why we become burned out. Now, most people that you'll ask think it's about the hamster wheel of someone who's just working too many hours. And as you all know, I come from management consulting where working 12, 14-hour days, 6, 7 days a week is way too common. It sucks. that is so common, and yet it persists. And we've got to realize that it's more than too many hours, right? There's a much deeper problem as to why we become burned out. There's a root issue, and it's this. We become burned out because we have a disconnect between what we're doing and what we value. Stay with me for a second. I'll give you a couple of examples. Say you're spending 6 hours a day alone in meetings you hate. Beyond all of the other BS you're doing, 6 hours in meetings you hate. And you're missing bedtime routines with your kids because of all that grunt work and all that catch up you have to do in the evenings. You're missing that valuable time that you claim to value with your kids. That's a disconnect between what you're doing and what you value. Another one might be, say you're on a family vacation and you feel compelled to sneak in another review of your email while everyone else is on the beach enjoying themselves. And your family clearly sees that you're not present. You're sneaking away and you're not there. You're checked out. Again, it's you doing something that's not in alignment with your so-called values. That's what really stresses the burnout. It's what compounds it and makes it worse. Yes, too many hours is a problem. That's a very fixable problem. That's for another more tactical episode that I've gotten to time and time again with Uncage Yourself.
Hey, Matt here. Quick break. I'd like to gift you a valuable resource. It's a short video training that helps you uncage yourself. You'll find it at uncagedworkshop.com. There, you'll learn my exact method for escaping the corporate cage, creating a self-directed life, and unlocking uncapped income by doing work you love. So go check out that short video at uncagedworkshop.com. All right, back to the show.
But here's the sad truth. This situation where you have this disconnect between what you value and what you're doing, the sad truth is that you are accepting this situation. You are accepting this burnout. And realize this, burnout does not happen to you. Let me erase that myth right now. It does not happen to you. It's not some external environment like a job, a corporation, an industry that's forced upon you. Like, think how illogical and stupid that is. If you are a person who thinks, feels, and acts on their own accord, right? No one can make you do anything else other than yourself. Can an external world, can a job, can a client, whatever, can any of that happen to you? No, you have to say yes to what's being asked of you. You are a willing participant. You, my friend, are at the center of your burnout. You are the cause of your burnout. Oh, I can't believe Matt just said that, right? But it's true. And even if you were to change jobs, say you switch different industries or teams within a particular company, unless the situation is radically different, a job change likely won't fix the problem because you are still the same person with the same behaviors and mindset doing the same things. So you remain, and no matter the external environment, you will continue to be burned out because of who you are, how you're acting, what you believe, okay? So let me ask you a coaching question. I'm going to put my coaching hat on for a second here. When you're in this burned out state and you're letting your external job happen to you and you're blaming it, are you operating from a state of cause or effect? Straight up, if you believe that burnout is happening from your job, it's coming from your job, you're operating from a state of effect. Now, where you want to be instead is a place where you are at cause. You are causing the effect, right? You want an effect of peace, harmony, productivity at work. So you need to step into a state of cause. Be someone who claims ownership of that past burnout. And you say, no more of this shit. I'm on to my own. I'm creating a situation where I'm in control. I'm surgical at work. I'm not just getting blasted by enemy fire from 360-degree angles all day. No, you're going to take a much more empowering stance. You're going to operate from cause to create the effects of your own choosing, which is good work output, efficient work output, time with family, healthy being, these sorts of things, okay? So that's number 2. Hope you understand that why burnout happens is not because of the job. It's not from an external environment. It's because of your willing participation and you choosing to engage in burnout and saying yes to it. Luckily, you have the keys to freedom. As we often talk about, when you uncage yourself, you already possess the keys. So just unlock that gate and step out. Let's get after it. Now, thirdly, I want you to understand the real costs of burnout. It's not just you being tired and exhausted. It's so much more than that. And I talk to people in this situation every single week, sometimes 5 to 10 people, new people that I've never even met before come out of the blue, and we have these conversations, and I see these commonalities. They think it's happening to them, as we said, which is wrong, but they also think it's something they just need to endure. They just need to pay their dues. My friend, I beg of you, please do not just endure burnout. That is stupid. Let's think about the actual costs. First off, when you're burned out and you're giving all your energy to work, you're giving up a ton of time and energy. A ton, like hours and hours and hours. Can you imagine when you compound that over a year, a decade, how many thousands of hours? I'm terrible at math, but it's got to be years of your life that you're just giving up to feeling burned out, unproductive, miserable. Are you really willing to tolerate giving up that much time? Don't. Another piece is your physical health. Clearly, this happens all the time from people that have problems with weight gain. They have other disorders, diseases, cancer. Cancer is like a switch that often gets kicked in by stress. There's lots of research on this. If you look into the field of epigenetics, it says that the environment you engage in, the behaviors you engage in, can flip on and off cells in your body. Like the cancer cells, which are lying dormant right now, we all have them, can be switched on. You can literally cause cancer by continuing to say yes to burnout. Please don't do that. Please. I don't even want to continue. You know the ridiculousness of continuing there. There's also your emotional health, the stress, the anxiety, being up at 3 a.m., the Sunday scaries, waking up on Monday morning, dreading the week ahead, and all the repercussions of enduring terrible mental health. Then there's maybe a marriage. The average grief from enduring a broken marriage, say you get divorced, is about 7 to 8 years of grief that you deal with personally and your partner deals with. You get a family that's ripped apart, let alone if there's kids in the mix. They have to deal with the wreckage of a broken marriage, or you as the absent parent who's always burned out, not really there. Come on, are you really willing to tolerate this? Then there's the more tangible stuff. Your performance at work takes a huge nosedive, right? And if you're not performing well, you're not earning what you could be. You are not doing well in corporate. If you had any entrepreneurial ambition, you're going to have no space for being an entrepreneur. Don't even consider that. And you know, I talk about the upside of that constantly. But good luck. If you're burned out in corporate, you're just going to be burned out as an entrepreneur. And then you're just in double burnout. That's stupid. Okay. And then just the tangible ultimate problem here is your financial future gets destroyed because you continue burnout. You are flatlining your earnings. You are not looking at exponential opportunities. You are not opening new doors, creating new relationships. Your financial future just flatlines. And if you consider inflation and all that jazz, it's probably going down over time. Your net worth, your earnings potential, the lifestyle you can create just goes downhill because you continue to say yes to burnout. So those are the real costs. Soak those in, okay? It's not just about being exhausted. It's all those very tangible things to you, your family, your finances, okay? So you might be asking, Matt, how do I deal with this? Okay, good question. I'll cut to the chase. There's lots of strategies. There's mindset work. There's a ton of new behavior changes. But the fastest and most effective way is to invest. Invest in a mentor, invest in a program that will help get you there in a hurry. If you try to do this alone, passively read some books, even this podcast is only going to inspire you. It's not going to transform you. I am merely conveying information to you right now. You, my friend, if you're burned out, you need transformation. You need to step into a container, an environment, a structure, accountability that pushes you to radically change who you are and what you're doing, to eradicate burnout for the rest of your life so it never shows up again, because it's a choice. So you can endure, you can dabble, you can try to do this cheap, you can take decades if you're willing to sacrifice your time and energy and earning potential, your family, your marriage. You can wait and endure all that pain if you'd like, or you can invest. And this is just straight up what I've learned, what I've seen other people go through. Like, this is the fastest, most effective way to get to where you need to be. I will tell you, the average American, when we talk about knowledge workers, people in corporate America, the average American will have between $2 and $10 million pass through their hands. Wouldn't it make sense to take a tiny fraction of a percent and invest that in destroying burnout, which can completely alter the trajectory of your life for the better, and avoid all those terrible costs from time, health, marriage, kids, work performance, finances? Are you willing to let all of that cost just hit you and destroy your future? Or would you invest a little bit to make that change? I want you to remember the costs. And I'm telling you to invest in something, because it is the fastest way to get you to where you need to be. Do not go it alone, okay? Okay, off my soapbox here. So we've talked about a lot so far. We've talked about what burnout is, why we become burned out in the first place, and it's a lot of our own choosing. And then thirdly, we just talked about the real costs of burnout, which are tragic if we let them unfold. So you've been warned. You've seen people before you get burned out. Look above, look at your bosses. Do you want their lives? Do you really want their lives? Sure, they're making a buck, but do you want their lives? I was talking to someone last week, a partner at a consulting firm, and he said to me, now that I think about it, Matt, I feel like maybe my devotion to work is what really caused my divorce. And I was just stunned. I was like, you're just realizing that now is what's going through my head. I didn't say that, of course, but I'm like, wow. Whew. We all saw it coming from a mile away, right? So you've got to ask yourself, is that the life you want to live when you look up at the people who are ahead of you, a few years ahead, and remember those costs? Now, if you do want help, I talked about mentorship before. I can help jumpstart you and get you out of burnout. That is one of my absolute specialties in what we do in my program. The fastest way to get you started is to book a breakthrough call, because we need to understand really what's transpiring. You need clarity, even if for your own sake. We don't have to work together. Doesn't matter. I want you to have this clarity that we're talking about right now. It means that much to me that one more person in this world has the knowledge and tool set and energy to actually solve this, to save their own life, to save their family's life, to save their future, to do good work in this world. So if you want help, you can head on over to matthewdoan.com/talk. In that call, we'll do 3 things. We'll look at your current work situation, looking at what's working, what's not working, and why. Secondly, we'll look at what you'd like to have happen instead. And then thirdly, we'll look at the exact game plan for getting you there. So if you need help, if you'd like a nudge, if you'd like clarity on this very meaningful, life-altering problem of burnout, head on over to matthewdoan.com/talk, and we'll get you jump-started. It's what we do. It gives me joy and energy to help people each and every day, no matter what the future of that conversation is. So for your own sake, for your family, please book that call. This is a turning point in your life. Just please, my friend, don't tolerate burnout. There's too much at stake. I've hopefully outlined that for you. I want you to use your agency. End burnout now. I want you to define your version of freedom and choose that. No more choosing burnout. Choose freedom. Your version. You deserve it. You can make it happen. If you need help, reach out. I hope this helps. We'll chat soon.
Hey, Matt here. Thanks for listening to Uncage Yourself. For show notes and more content like this, head over to uncageyourself.fm. And if you liked what you heard, I'd appreciate you leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Until next time, be well, my friend.